Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Liz. Thank you so much for stopping by. Today I have it's an unboxing because this is a deck that's new to me, but it's an open box because I got it used. Sort of review. I have not used the deck, but I've literally read the entire book. Okay, I love this book. It's funny because I've ordered the book. I have 2 books plus the new book in here, and I got 3 books, okay? And the reason I have the 3 books is because when you order this used, say, on Thrift Books or Abe Books, they'll say it's the Fairy Ring deck, and 99.9% of the time it's just the book. Although why somebody has the book and not the deck, I don't know, but whatever. So I have ordered them before the book thinking I was getting the deck. Wasn't getting the deck, whatever. They gave me my money back, whatever. Wasn't a big deal. So I've had the book around for a while, and I was going through my books in my shelf to get rid of some books and a few other things that I had that I listed some on eBay to get rid of that I wasn't going to read. And I picked up the book, and I'm like, you know what? I just kind of rifled through it a little bit, and I read like one of the descriptions of the fairies, and I loved it. So I honestly read the entire book before I even got the deck. I happened to just go on eBay, and somebody was selling the deck for, I don't know, I think it might have been like, it was like $10 less than I would get it new. I can't remember exactly how much. Anyway, because you know how eBay is, it's whatever people have. So I absolutely loved the book. The book was fantastic. I'm going to read to you from the book a couple of the descriptions, because it has a whole description of the fairy, the particular fairy, and then it has like what the actual card means, which is just a small little blurb. And it also has, I think it's 8 of the holidays, holidays or seasonal holidays that are like Celtic in nature. And the deck itself is pretty good. It's cute. I love fairies. It's an old deck. Let's see, this was, I forget when it was, 2004 or something like that. And it was done with like computer animation or whatever it was. So it's okay. It's not the greatest, but you know what? I found the book fantastic. I loved it. Honestly, it's funny that I've had it around for, I don't know, 2 years or so and never read it until like last week sometime. And honestly, I read the whole thing in like 2 days. You know, it's well written. It's pretty very interesting. And the one thing that the cards do have is they have borders, which I don't love, because see this card here, it doesn't have a border. That's one of the cards in there, but it has a border from what I remember. Or maybe not, because this is one of the holiday cards, I believe. So maybe not. Maybe those don't have border. I literally looked through them really quick, but I didn't pay much attention. So, Between the Worlds. They inhabit the enchanted realms of dreams and legends, often crossing the threshold between this world and the other world. With the ability to bestow great gifts if favored or wreak household havoc if angered, fairies have long been much loved and much feared in the Celtic lands. Listen to the wisdom of the little people as they speak through the cards of the fairy ring. This new oracle will enchant with its evocative artwork as it enlightens with insightful readings. The full-size guidebook includes fairy lore, upright and reverse card interpretations, and 9 unique card layouts. Many fairies are seasonal creatures, so the cards of the fairy ring are divided into 4 suits: spring, summer, autumn, and winter. This motley assortment of fairies, from helpful brownies to ghostly banshees to the ethereal Morgan Le Fay, appear on the cards in the suit of the seasons in which they are most likely to be seen. 8 additional cards celebrate the ancient Celtic, solar, and pastoral holidays, long considered to be auspicious days for working with the Fae. The gateway to the other world stands open. Cross the threshold and into the fairy ring, where the gifts and guidance of the fairy folk await you. It's beautiful. I love it. And this is written, the book is written by Anne Franklin, and the illustrations are by Paul Mason. They also have another deck. It's in the back of the book. It's like Celtic something. I forget exactly what it was. And I'm like, oh, if that book is just as good, I'm going to read that book, because I actually happen to have that deck. I'm like, ooh, let me look and see, because I have decks. I forget what I have, honestly. So I believe it comes with this. This is how it came to me. I think it might come with the bag, but I'm not 100% sure, because this is just one of those decks, boxes. I don't like these boxes. These tuck boxes are the worst. See, this one's all beat up. Well, there's a reason why these boxes are terrible, because they're just not strong enough, not like the other ones. And it's tagged here $29.99 US, but on Amazon you could get it new for I want to say like $22, something like that. It does have, like I said, it's got the awesome book, and it's got a bunch of layouts, spreads, and it's got every single card, of course. But it's just, oh, I love it. I can't wait to read some of it to you. Anyway, they came in order, so I didn't have to do anything. I didn't have to put them in order, which is good. I did look through them real quick, but I really didn't get a very good look at them, because the day I got them, I was in the middle of doing stuff. I've been picking cherries, because we have a cherry tree, although the squirrels finally found us, so we got no more cherries left. Because that's how they are. You can't blame them. All right, so these are, now I don't know if it's got only 4 of these. It does not say in the book. There's 60 cards, but even on the box it doesn't tell you how many. I don't think it does. And it did come with these cards that have the spreads on them, which I find interesting. I really do like that, you know, so that was kind of cool. And then it tells you on the other side what they mean. It's really neat. I like it. I like it a lot. Okay, so the cards themselves, they're okay quality. They're kind of flimsy, honestly. For 60 cards, that's pretty thin. That's a very, very thin deck. But they have a nice coating on them, so I think they actually will shuffle quite well. Whoever had these before, I don't think they use them very often, because they honestly seem brand new. I think they open them and put them away like I do with a lot of my cards. Okay, so first one. This is the Ace. I believe these are spring. Okay, I believe it's spring. And so the Ace, which is Ariel or Ariel. 2 is the Leprechaun. See, I don't like these borders. See, you don't only have this border, you have another border. I don't know. It's a cool card, but I wish that they had more of the picture. And I do like the back, though. The back is really neat. I like the back a lot. All right, so 3 is the Brownie. I need a couple of those. I'd be happy to feed them. 4, Befind or Bayfind. Now, I am going to struggle with some of these names, because some of them are Celtic, or they may be even Irish names, and I may not be able to say it correctly. So 5, Fairy Heart Unicorn, because these cards all do have also a reversed meaning. So 6, Garconer. 7, Azrai. And the cards, I do like the artwork. It's very pretty, you know. 8, Billy Winker. Wee Willie Winky, I think, is also another name for him. 9, Pixie. See a little cute little pixie in there. Okay, and then it has, so it's got 9 of the regular cards, and then it has court cards. So, Lady, the White Lady. Knave, Titty Mum. Queen, the Sea Mither. King, the Wood Woes. Okay. And this one is Summer. Yeah, that has to be Summer fall. Yeah, okay. So this one's summer. The Fire Drake. I actually like this one because it's a dragon. See it right there? I like that one. I might leave that one out. I like that one. Waylon Smith, number 2. 3 is Gruagash. 4 is the Hape Trot. 5 is the Gru Sith Teru Ushti. Like I said, I don't know if I'm saying these words correctly, but I am trying. 6, Ain or Anne. 7, Will-o'-the-Wisp. 8, Tamlin. This is actually a cool story. I remember this one. I believe with this one, he's not a fairy, but he fell in love with a fairy or something like that. And I don't remember exactly, but I believe he's not an actual fairy. 9, Jenny Greenteeth. That looks scary to me. I wouldn't want to see that. Thanks, I'm good. Okay, now we're to the court cards. Lady is the Green Lady. Beautiful. Knave is Robin Goodfellow. Queen, the Elder Queen. King, the Oakman. And this one, when I read in the book, it talks about being careful chopping down oak trees. Although we had to take a few oak trees down, nothing happened because, you know, if we weren't careful, they're going to wind up on the house. But these places have their lore, and there's a reason why they have their lore, you know. Ace, the mermaid. So this is the ace of fall or autumn. Now the mermaid has quite the story. Maybe I'll hold her back. She's not the delicate little flower we think she is, not in legend anyway. 2, Spriggan. You see 3 of them over there running around. 3, Changeling. We all know what a changeling is, or we should. So when a fairy changes, they exchange one of their babies for one of our babies. It was just a way of, I think, people, if their child was sick, they would say it was a changeling because I guess it was a way to cope with it. It makes sense. I mean, it has to be so heartbreaking when your child is ill, you know. 4, Banshee. 5, Fairy Horse or Kelpie. See, this one has the 2 different creatures. Now, the Fairy Horse in this card, the Fairy Horse is very helpful, and whereas if you get the Kelpie, it's not so much. So, 6, Tremor or Triamore. I don't remember what that one. I'm not sure what that is. That people up there? I cannot tell if it's people in the tower. I don't know. It's hard to see with my eyeballs. Okay, 7, the Lake Maiden. 8, Boabasith. I wish they had in the book, one thing that I wish they did have is the correct pronunciation of it. You know, it would be nice to know exactly how to say these things, these words. So 9 is Selkie. Okay, Lady, Morgan Le Fay. Knave, Puka. Queen, Queen Oana. And this queen and this king are married. King is King Finvara. And there's a story about it. Like I said, every single card has a story. It explains the lore. I love it. Ace, Knocker. 2, Trow. 3, Bogart. Let's see. I might hold that one back. There's a couple. There's some that are funny because it says it explains how to work with the particular fairy or let's see, in the holidays doesn't explain that, doesn't give you that, but explains how to work with a particular fairy if you want. And in some it says do not recommend or not recommended, which is understandable. 4 Grim, 5 Fairy Dog and Black Shook, 6 Li Ananshi. Now that's the fairy right there, and she's basically like a muse. But the thing with this particular fairy, people think, oh, that would be great. Well, she kind of muses you to death. You get so fixated that you literally lose all track of everything else. You don't eat, don't drink, and it's in the book it says that's why like musicians and poets die early, because they get so consumed. So makes sense that they would have some kind of lore for that. 7 Fachan. 8 the Boogeyman. You know, the Boogeyman. I don't want nothing to do with the Boogeyman. 9 the Unsealy Court. I'm going to hold this one back because I like that one. Okay. Lady, the Blue Hag. I like her too. I'm gonna hold these 4 back. Probably not gonna read them all because they're a little wordy, but so Knave is Jack Frost. The Queen is Mab. I mean, she's so pretty. Look how beautiful. Beautiful. And the King is Gwen Apnud. All right, so these are the fairy festivals. Midsummer. Look how pretty it is. See, it doesn't really have the big border around it. I love the look of that. There's so much to look at there. Look at all the different fairies. It's just beautiful. And there's a fairy island in the back. Beltane. Lunasa. Imbolic. Ostara. Herfest, which means harvest festival. Samhain, which is usually Halloween, right around Halloween, November 1st, so right around Halloween. That's why there's the jack-o'-lanterns in there. And Yule, the winter solstice. Okay, so those are the cards. I do like this deck. I've been wanting this deck for a wicked long time. Like I said, I've ordered it multiple times, thinking I was getting the deck. I was wrong. And then I refused to buy it new because I was kind of mad. So, all right. You know what? We're going to do the Unsealy Court first. That is winter. Winter. Autumn Court. Unsealy. So that's 9. There we go. And that's why I love... Now, I will read this part where it explains the Unsealy Court. And I will... the other ones I'm just going to explain... I'm just going to do the quick meanings of them because, you know, we don't want to be here for 3 hours. Okay. So, the card... The card shows a gathering of 8 sinister-looking fairies. 3 of them just look like skeletons rising into the air. The 2 hooded figures clasp staffs, and a sinister little creature with pointed ears reaches forward. An ugly goblin wears a red cloak and has 2 rows of wicked-looking teeth. A female fairy with a knowing look gazes back at the viewer. Oh, wrong one. I'm just going to bring that up close to you so you can look at that. See the skeletons? See them all? Okay. I can see it better on camera than I can see it in real life, that's for sure. All right. The fairies. Scottish fairies come in 2 varieties. The Sealy Court, who are good and beautiful, and the Unsealy Court, meaning unblessed court. Now, I read a book series. I think it was a court of thorn and ashes, roses, or thorns and ashes, or something like that. And it was all about the Unsealy and the Sealy Court. And honestly, it kind of like threw that out the window. Of course, it's only fiction, but it was pretty cool. All right, so anyway. Unsealy Court, meaning the unblessed court, who are ugly and evil. These malevolent creatures, sometimes taught to be the souls of the damned, are usually seen as at twilight and are most active during the dark half of the year, from Halloween to Easter. They live in the underworld below the mountains of Scotland. All sorts of monstrous beings belong to the Unsealy Court, but one particular gang of fairies is called the Host, the Slua. They travel in gusts of wind and snatching up humans and carrying them along in the melee. If someone should see them and call out a blessing, the host will be forced to drop the unfortunate man or woman. One old man muttered, "Bless the child," and was amazed when a baby dropped into his lap. Sometimes people have been carried for hundreds of miles, and a few have even ended up in North America and have had a great deal of trouble getting home to Scotland. However, once a human has been with the host, he or she remains under their spell and must answer their summons when it comes. The host takes great pleasure in forcing humans to commit wicked acts, like firing dangerous elf bolts at other mortals. In Scottish tradition, the fairies cannot throw such bolts themselves, but must compel a mortal to do so. If the victim is a friend, and the thrower can if the victim is a friend, then the thrower can usually manage to miss, and the bolt will be found lying harmlessly beside the intended victim. However, elf bolts are very dangerous. Being hit by one may cause a variety of illnesses, and many deaths have been attributed to them. They were often aimed at the fingers, causing the joints to swell and become red and inflamed. Some elf bolts could kill outright. Elf bolts are small flint arrowheads often found in Britain, Ireland, and continental Europe. In reality, the Stone Age inhabitants crafted them, but country folk thought the fairies must have made them to use against those who offended them. Inexplicable illness, such as a sudden stroke, were attributed to being struck by one. Indeed, the word stroke for paralysis is derived from elf stroke. If you find an elf bolt, it is a lucky charm and will guard against any further attacks by evil fairies. It was once believed that it would cure wounds when rubbed on them. You should never give an elf bolt away, however, as this would be an invitation for the fairies to kidnap you. We don't want that. Divinatory meaning. The appearance of the Unsealy Court indicates a way of life overturned, unexpected change, anger, frustration, broken promises, hurt, spite, malice, jealousy, and perhaps new but unsuitable alliances. Reverse meaning. The Unsealy Court reverse indicates a low threshold of boredom and the desire to seek out novelty for its own sake. Satiety, dissatisfaction, excess, and pleasures that last for only a moment. Working with the Unsealy Court. Not recommended. I can understand why. All right, so let's do the mermaid. We'll do the mermaid. That's the fall one. Fall. What number is that? The ace. I already passed it. Here we go. Mermaid. The card shows a mermaid. The upper half of her body is that of an attractive woman, and the lower half is like a fishtail, covered in scales. Her hair is long and glossy. She sits on a rock which emerges from the sea at twilight. The evening star Venus can be seen in the sky. Her mirror lies in the corner of the card, reflecting the face of the full moon. So I'm just going to show you that real quick. See it? Here's the mirror. Look at her. Okay. Mermaids are sea fairies with the upper bodies of lovely women and the tails of fish. Thought in early Celtic tales they were simply sea-dwelling maidens. Sometimes these exotic creatures come to the surface of the sea and sit on rocks near the shore, combing their beautiful hair. The mermaid is an enchantress, a seductive siren with a sweet voice, but her songs lure ships onto the rocky coasts of Scotland and Cornwall. They take the souls of drowned sailors to the bottom of the sea, where they keep them in lobster pots. Well, okay. Anyone who falls asleep on the beach is in danger of being taken by the mermaid to live with her in her underwater palace. The earliest stories of mermaids date back around 5000 BCE. And sailors have been reporting sightings ever since. Alexander the Great captured 2 mermaids with skin as white as snow and hair that came down to their feet. Another mermaid was washed ashore in 15th century Holland and became a maidservant. Belief in mermaids was still widespread in coastal areas of Britain in the 19th century, and as recently as 1947, an 80-year-old fisherman from the Isle of Muck claimed to have seen a mermaid near the shore combing her hair. There are many tales of marriages between mermaids and human men. Mermaids make good wives and caring mothers. However, they are usually unwilling to leave their watery home, and men in love with mermaids have to resort to subterfuge. If her magical cap, belt, or comb is hidden, she is unable to leave the land. But as soon as she finds it, she will return to the sea, leaving her husband and children without a second thought. Mermaids may derive from such ancient goddesses as Aphrodite, who was born from the foam of the sea and rode to the shore in a seashell. In early astrology, her mirror was the emblem that represented the planet Venus. I like it thinking, was Venus on the seashell? I forget, was it Rembrandt that made that painting? I don't even know. Okay, and then it gives you the divinatory meaning. The mermaid is often, the mermaid, I don't know where I'm coming up with these words that aren't even there. Dear Lord. The mermaid is most at home in the water, the element that symbolizes emotions and feelings. When she appears upright in your spread, she heralds a time of great fulfillment and joy. This may be a time of creative inspiration when you create works of great truth and beauty. The mermaid may also be a harbinger of love, attraction, passion, and marriage. She emphasizes the importance of female sensuality. While water can be cleansing and free-flowing, it can also be, this is the reverse meaning. While water can be cleansing and free-flowing, it can be dammed up and fetid. The Mermaid Reverse in your cards indicates a time of emotional stagnation, loneliness, unhappiness, isolation, barrenness, and despair. Now, it gives you a meditation that you can go where you close your eyes. It does give you a lot of them give you a recipe for an incense to make. I'll just read the very top. The mermaid is an elemental creature of water. In magic, water rules emotions, intuition, clairvoyant powers, instinct, and the subconscious. Prepare an incense of water by mixing half a teaspoon of daisy petals, a few drops of jasmine oil, 3 teaspoons of myrrh resin, 2 teaspoons willow wood, and 1 teaspoon white rose petals. Burn on a charcoal block. This incense attracts water elementals. So a lot of them have these recipes. Some of you might be interested in that. I just throw a bunch of stuff together and hope for the best. That's, so you can work with the mermaids. I remember reading, it must be one of the other cards where they also talk a little bit about mermaids and how mermaids will, or maybe it's a different water creature, they'll basically drown you. And maybe it's the green teeth lady. All right. I will give you the divinatory meanings of these two. The Fire Drake, which is the first one that's the first one in Summer Court. I love these stories. These stories are fantastic. They all have great, I love this book so much. I will read the book again. I found the book so entertaining. Okay, so the picture shows a hearth fire blazing in the grate. Horse brasses are hung on the fireplace for luck, and candles burn on the mantelpiece. A small dragon called a fire drake basks in the warmth. So the fire drake appearing in a spread indicates a time of restless energy and desire for change. He may herald new opportunities, new ventures, and a cycle of great creative energy, innovation, invention, inspiration, dynamism, and passion. Reverse meaning: the appearance of fire drake reversed in your cards indicates an unwillingness to act, vacillation, inconsistency, false starts, or projects conceived but not pursued. The card may also represent impotency, barrenness, frustration, problems with the opposite sex. And this one has a little thing too, and it gives you also the incense here is pinch of dragon's blood, 2 teaspoons of oak chips, 3 teaspoons frankincense resin, half a teaspoon cinnamon powder, and a few drops of orange oil. That actually sounds like it smells delicious. Okay, the Blue Hag. Now, from what I remember, the Blue Hag she gets a bad rap because she's kind of like a death deity, but because she's a winter fairy, but she's not bad. I mean, things have to die. It's part of life. let's see, she's the lady. So she's part of the court. And she's the first one. Wait a minute, am I in winter? I am. Winter court, where am I? Oh, okay, I'm not. Here she is. So the card depicts an old wrinkled crone whose face is blue with cold. She is hooded and cloaked in weathered brown. The earth beneath her is covered with snow and ice, as are the mountains in the background. A crow is perched at her feet. She carries a holly staff topped with the skull of a carrion crow. Can you see that? See that right there? Can you see the crow right there at the top? When I was reading the book, I didn't have the cards. It was really, really hard to see it on here, I thought. But honestly, the cards are not that much bigger, so the picture's really not that big. I wish the pictures were bigger because, you know, like I said, my old eyes have a hard time picking stuff out. Okay, so. Okay, so, and then it talks about, let's see, where are we at? 30 minutes? Because this one's kind of a cool one. I kind of like her a lot, actually. All right, you know what? I'm going to read this one. You guys can fast forward to it if you want, because I love the way this book is done. Okay, the fairy is known in Gaelic as the Cailleach Bure, meaning veiled one, and is a Gaelic term for hag or crone, while Bure means blue. There are a number of other Cailleaches. I know I'm not saying that correctly. I'm sorry, but I cannot remember the correct pronunciation right now. There are a number of other Cailleaches in Scotland and Ireland, and a variety of hag fairies in England and Wales. Fairy tales are filled with references to hags, ugly withered old women, sometimes witches and sometimes fairies, who bring sickness, death, or winter. In English, the literature of the Renaissance period, the words hag and fairy were often synonymous. The Cailleach Bure, or Blue Hag, lives in the Ben Nevis Mountains. Stones that fell from her basket formed the Hebrides Islands. Her face is blue with cold, her hair is white as frost, and her cloak the color of withered foliage. She carries a holly staff topped with the head of a carrion crow, and if she touches anyone with it, the person will die. At Samhain, November 1st, her powers grow and she strides across the land, beating down the vegetation with her staff and hardening the earth with frost. When her season is fully set in, she brings the snow. Then, as spring approaches, her power begins to wane, until at Beltane, May 1st, she gives up her struggle, flinging her staff under a holly tree, and this is why no grass can grow under the holly. I take issue with that. I have 3 hollies, and we just spent, well, I didn't, my husband did, an entire day pulling out grass from under it. I don't think that's true. She then shrinks to a gray stone to wait until her season comes again. It is said that if anyone can find her staff, that person will have the power of destiny over the human race. That would be cool. I don't want it, but let's hope if anybody does find it, they're not crazy. The Cailleach Bure is one of the clearest examples of the folk survival of a winter crone goddess who kills the summer growth and ushers in the winter. She is reborn each Samhain, the start of winter, and proceeds to blight the earth with snow and cold. In Scottish law, St. Bridget banishes her at the end of the season and ushers in the spring. Bridget is a Christianized version of fire goddess Bridget, whose Imbolc festival marks the first stirrings of spring. So, the divinatory meaning. When the Cailleach Bure appears in a spread, she indicates the winding down of a situation, endings, necessary change, and the end of a cycle before a new one begins. The card may also indicate a real person, an elderly woman with intense, deep emotions beneath a calm surface. She is philosophical and appears detached, but she is utterly unforgiving of an offense against her. So that's one thing about the court cards. It actually could be a person. And I find that this one, in my mind, corresponds to the Queen of Swords in tarot. Because that's kind of how I see the Queen of Swords. She's just she doesn't put up with any BS, and she takes no prisoners. She doesn't suffer fools gladly, that's for sure. Reverse meaning. The Blue Hag reverse indicates that past hurts will are still deeply affecting the questioner. He or she will not be able to move on until these have been resolved. The card may indicate a real person in your life, a mature elderly woman with a sharp tongue who criticizes your best efforts and is never satisfied. Just like the Queen of Swords can be, you know, kind of mean as she wants to be when she's not at her best. Okay. And this one here does not have a recipe that goes with it. It has the same thing. They have a meditation. It's just really, I don't know. I really do love these. Honestly, I think I love the book more than the cards. I really do. I love stuff that gives me a story behind behind the story, I guess. And these, the festival cards. You know what? Let me read on Samhain real quick. The card shows a fairy mounted at night with a sickle moon hanging in the sky. Light streams from the mounds. Since this is the night it opens and humans visitors may gain access. The trees are hung with jack-o'-lanterns. Skeletons also perch there, and bats fly about the sky. In the foreground are fly agaric mushrooms and 2 red-clad fairies, one of them winged. Never heard of that kind of mushroom. Okay. This ancient Celtic festival, known in modern times as Halloween, is celebrated at the beginning of November. The hours of light have diminished, the days are short, the powers of growth and light are in decline, and the powers of darkness and cold begin to gain ascendancy. Similar festivals are celebrated around the world, marking the start of winter and the dominion of the powers of blight, decay, and death. Samhain was the Celtic New Year and marked the beginning of the winter. For the Celts, any boundary was important magically. These times and places were dangerous. One might enter fairyland through them accidentally, or aspects of the other world might pass through into our own. The time when one season passed to another was particularly tricky, especially the 2 hinges of the year, Beltane, May Day, the start of summer, and Samhain, when the other world came very close. Samhain is the pivotal point of the year itself, when one year passes to the next and the doors between the worlds open. At Samhain, the cattle are brought down from the summer pastures to the safer lowland winter ones. Any beast that could not be kept through the winter would be slaughtered. This is one of the reasons Samhain was called the Festival of the Dead. Some of the animals would have been ritually sacrificed to appease the powers of winter, like Irish offerings at Samhain to the Fomorians, god of blight, and to feed the spirits of the dead that came to visit the Samhain feast. After Samhain, ghosts, spirits, and evil fairies walk the land. Good fairies, such as the Irish Tuatha De Danann and the English Puck, retire from sight until spring returns. Wicked fairies, such as the Scottish Unsealy Court, become very active from now until Easter, along with Cailleaches and hag fairies, who were probably once crone goddesses of winter who ruled over the season. Evil omens such as black dogs also appear. Fairy mounds open at Samhain, and you might get a glimpse inside. At Hollantide, November 11th, Old Samhain, the hillmen or hogmen, the most feared of the Manx fairies, move their abode, and humans should not venture out then. After Samhain, all the crops left unharvested belong to the fairies. In Ireland, Halloween is called Puka Night, and after this, Fairy Puka renders all the crops unfit to eat and spoils all the blackberries. Welsh griffins blight any crops left in the field. The Lunatices, moon fairies, will not allow blackthorn to be cut on November 11th, Old Samhain before calendar changes. Divinatory meaning. The card of Samhain indicates powerful forces at work, leading to endings, change, the completion of a cycle, dissolution, and winding down. It may also mean ancestral contact, family or tribal ties, clairvoyance, and mediumship. Reverse meaning. The card of Samhain reversed indicates immobility, quenchance, constriction, and censure. I don't know what that word means, quenchance or quiescence. I don't know. Never heard before. You know, I'm sure it means something similar to the other ones. Anyway, that's this deck. Like I said, I like this a lot. I actually feel like I'm going to use this deck quite a bit because I love the book so much and I won't mind reading it. I just won't. I think it's just neat because I love fairies, and I've read a lot of books with fairies in it. You know, some of these urban, what are they called? They're not urban romances, whatever they are. They're more like sci-fi stuff. I love that kind of thing. And I just find it really, really interesting. And, you know, it's an escape. So anyway, if you're interested in the book, you can buy the book separately very easily. They're like, I have a couple on eBay myself for maybe $10. You know, most people are selling them for around $10 if you want just the book. But you know what? If you can find the book used for $15, a book with the deck, I'm sorry, for $15, it's a good deal. And I think there's a lot of magic in this deck. I just feel it. It just feels magical. So, all right. Thank you so much for listening to me. I hope you have a fantastic day wherever you are. I'm actually going to go sit outside right now and enjoy the rest of this day. It's been fantastic around here. Thank you so much. Blessings and thank you.